It's another gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in Los Angeles, and we've got a spicy one to start the day. It's the Gladiators and the Titans going head-to-head, but a Stage 3 playoff spot on the line here in our match of the week.
The Vancouver Titans had their historic win streak of 19 matches snap last week.
And that is going to be it! The Los Angeles Valiant are the first team to deliver a loss to the Vancouver Titans in the regular season.
With a top 12 playoff spot already secured, Bumper and the rest of the Titans are out to prove that their strategies haven't gone stale in the current meta.
저는 다 씹어먹으려고 왔어요.
The Gladiators have made some changes in Stage 3, bringing veteran DPS star Surefour back into the starting lineup.
Now Surefour, he's in a great spot to get the damage done.
And having some fun with their team comps.
Here is the bunker comp.
LA has been a consistently solid team all season, but today they can make a statement by taking down the league's top team. Gladiators, Titans. It's the match of the week.
And what a match of the week this one is going to be. Blizzard Arena already getting loud and proud as the home team goes up against the Vancouver Titans. Already one LA team has managed to topple them, but there's a lot more work to be done. The Titans still sit in an impressive 19-1, but there are some implications in this match, Matt.
Yeah, especially for Stage 3. Stage 3 has been really top-heavy in terms of the teams in the league, racking up wins. No, not a lot of losses. As you see, you just have the Spark and the Valiant who have clinched spots. So these two teams are still in the playoff chase, which is crazy. You look at the Titans, 5-1. How could they possibly not make it? You lose this match, depending on map count. You still have some teams that can pass them. This is a very important game.
And essentially, a win here for either team will lock up their spot in the Stage 3 playoffs and give them a chance to go even further here in this third stage. But obviously the Vancouver Titans have come off a rough loss to the LA Valiant, their first regular season loss at that. And our insider, Danny, went poking around, met up with the team and got some insights from them heading into this match.
Mitch and Matt, thank you very much. So I got to talk to the Titans about their first ever regular season loss, and they said after losing to the San Francisco Shock in Stage 2 finals, their regular season win streak didn't have much meaning to them because their main focus is to win the rest of the stage finals and ultimately win the grand finals this year. Their surprising loss to the LA Valiants was a wake-up call for them to adjust to the meta faster. The team told me that their takeaway lesson from their loss was not to play their opponent's playstyle, but to play their own game. Hence, the Vancouver Titans are, quote, switching things up today, end quote, by putting Stitch in the starting lineup. As for the Stage 3 playoffs, the Titans believe they will win today and lock up their spot, but it is going to be the most competitive stage playoff so far, and everyone has a shot at the title. That's it for me. Mitch and Matt, back to you guys.
The most competitive stage playoffs yet, and you pointed it out, we're so top-heavy in our top 8. And the Titans, you can't blame them for really feeling like that, right?
But they also say, you know, and every time we get them in the post game, that they want to go out there and beat everybody, and then it's like you lose, like, oh well, we never actually want to do that. Like,
It didn't actually matter.
Come on, man, it mattered. You can't sell me on that.
They downplay it, but their opponents are still going to be looking to try and take them down another peg and get themselves into Stage 3. Los Angeles, let's welcome to the stage your LA Gladiators.
Gladiator, Gladiator.
Don't you love it when it just works? Coming out in their third wave kit as well. The stylized jerseys for a stylish mob in a big game ahead, led by Surefour, hydration to follow. The LA Gladiators have said themselves they haven't reached the same dizzying heights that they had hoped to.
And I think you're going to see them do a lot of the things that the Valiant did. The Valiant's running a lot of triple damage dealer looks. They have Surefour, Hydration, and Decay in the game to start things off today. You don't have Void in the starting lineup. Where Hydration, you know, he's been coming in and out since kind of going to the bench, letting Surefour play the Brigade in certain scenarios and some other things. So I think they're going to give the Titans a lot of interesting looks here. I think with the Titans starting Stitch, Hydration starting for the Gladiators, that's going to be like a Pharah versus McCree type of matchup.
So might see some counter picks in terms of some of these heroes. Both teams looking to get the upper hand, but the opponents here are big. They're green, and they're out for revenge. Let's make some noise now for the Vancouver Titans. And they're in the conversation for the greatest Overwatch team the world has ever seen. But there's an asterisk there, and we're not sure because there's still a season to take. But so far, they're looking good. Stitch to bring up the rear here, Matt. We haven't seen much of him really at all for the Titans. It's been So-Min-Soo in his position. Definitely a big tip-off that the Vancouver Titans are changing tack.
Yeah, it seems like they want to run some different things here today, where So-Min-Soo's in the lineup. They really like to stay with the 3-3. Maybe they throw in some Sombra as well. With Stitch starting early, it'll be interesting to see what the Titans bring out. Also, see how they bounce back after a loss. We have not seen that here in the Overwatch League just yet. You know, they do lose in the postseason to the Shock, but a regular season loss, everybody's kind of talking, like, can they adapt? Can they figure it out? A lot of pressure on the Titans today.
And here is Stitch, of course. He was a Stage 1 playoffs champion, but also back in Korean Contenders 2018. And even before that, he was a huge part of the mix. Known for fantastic McCree and general hit scan play. It's a tool that we've not seen the Titans actually have to leverage yet, as So-Min-Soo's been very serviceable and very strong in a Zarya position. And he had flexed over towards McCree and Sombra as well. A secret weapon here might be in order for the Titans. But for the Gladiators, they're kind of showing their hand. We know what they go for. You know, strong triple DPS compositions. Bastion, Surefour says Bastion is lit. He loves it. Let's see what the maps are going to be now with your map set presented by Toyota. No Paris in this map pool. Paris has been a weak map for the Titans and a very good one for the Gladiators. It'll have to be Horizon where the Gladiators get their control win.
Yeah, you do have Horizon in the map pool for map number 2. And that is one where we've seen them run the Gladiators some Bastion, Torbjorn type of setup, some crazy things the other day against the Defiant. So the Titans 7-1 here, Gladiators 1-2 on Ilios. At least at the start, it looks like you're going to see the Titans try and run the Sombra variation. You know, Sombra goats. It's Stitch on the Sombra this time around. So what is this from the Gladiators? So you have a triple tank composition with Orisa,
It's bizarre.
Winston, and Zarya. So you're going to be running, I mean, look, this is triple tank, triple support, but not like one we've seen before.
So the Orisa here is going to give the Gladiators an anchor on the point. She can be hard to shift, but when they need to get aggressive, it's all about Big Goose providing the speed boost on the Lucio. So the Gladiators can push across the map and try and engage the Titans. They make themselves very hard to jump on, though, and that's kind of what Vancouver's team wants to do. They want to use Bumper, they want to get in there and find some picks. It's going to be a hold across the map here, but no one could save Raw. He was on his own, and the Gladiators were a little slow to adjust.
Yeah, and there's nobody that can really go in and dive with Roar. It's, you're really just relying on the Zarya bubbles to keep him alive, as Janu just trying to figure out how to break this. That'll be a halt from Hydration that take Hackball into the pit. Hydration takes out Bumper as well.
Is there anything Hydration cannot play? He's looking like a god out there. Janu desuited, Decay somehow staying alive. The Titans are far too out of step to do anything about a low health Zarya here.
It was a really weird setup where the Gladiators, they use the speed boost and they rotate towards the Titan side of the map. Now they'll go back and take their real estate over on their side. They can play behind the shield. If you try and dive this composition, you can bubble the Orisa, you have the Supercharger for Gita there. Using Roar is almost like a flanking damage dealer, just kind of chasing around the Sombra.
One thing is for sure though, EMP is particularly devastating to the Gladiators with this setup. Hydration does very little, as of course does Roar and Decay. Let's see how it goes down. No, a Nano Boost has been used on towards Bumper. He dives deep, he's trying to find those early picks, but Janu's already been taken out of the picture now. No Diva to mitigate that damage. Roar into Primal Rage here, but he's unsure about where to put himself currently. He doesn't need to peel back for his teammates as the Titans, well, Bumper, he doesn't get what he came for. He's knocked off.
As he falls off the side, you do have the Graviton Surge coming on for Decay in the next fight. And you've held on both support ults. So Stitch actually got a hack on a Big Goose there when they went in for the dive, and maybe that's why Bumper decides to use Primal Rage, maybe force out a support ult from, let's say, Shaz with the Transcendence, but he doesn't fall for it.
The Gladiators have two big support ultimates in reserve to use as EMP has to hit hard. Stitch needs to connect with those supports. He does it. Shaz is still able to get the Transcendence out. Twilight is run over. Big Goose escapes. He gets a health pack while Stitch was trying to remove him. So the Titans' big draw, the ace in the hole as it were, doesn't really seem to have had the impact they were looking for. And the Gladiators are still in control. At the point, they're still ticking up. Shaz will be accosted, though, by Janu, and he can't win that battle solo. Big Goose deals with Stitch now, goes for the sound barrier to stall, but the Gladiators look to be investing to win this fight.
Yeah, as they use sound barrier, they get Roar back in. Roar will have Primal Rage here. You have Sherpor in the back of the fight as well. Do they think they can stall this out long enough?
99%.
Titans take the point.
Titans back in control. The Gladiators return to the fray, though, when they're investing more ultimates, they want to win here and now. The roar of the crowd propelling them forward. Primal Rage for Raw doesn't seem to have done much except try and keep Bumper off the rest of his team.
And they use the nano on the Stitch during that fight, and then the Gladiators just back on up, so you get nothing for it. You wanted a nano him to try and build that EMP.
That didn't happen. That Sombra ultimate is off the table right now for the Vancouver Titans. The Gladiators want to try and capitalize on that and make some hay while the sun shines. Decay is body grenaded, he's going to back away. Johnny with a self-destruct in the back. Shaz could not get away. Didn't have his feet on the ground to run. And the Titans have managed to get through an awkward window of not having that EMP. They're in control. Stitch will have that ultimate for the next fight.
They use Supercharger there. Does Hydration stay on the Orisa? Looks like, at least for now, he will. As you'll come back, you'll have Rally, you'll have Transcendence. Most likely you end up getting a grab here, but this is a huge fight for the Gladiators. They're gonna have EMP on the other side, so see if you can spread out. They'll rally in. They're actually hiding Shaz in the background with the speed boosting Lucio near him to try and get him in a position.
Stitch is forced to use the EMP here. Shaz is able to get the Transcendence, but he can't get there in time to triage Raw. He's taken down early, and yet the Gladiators still want to commit. They get the 1-for-1, but Bumper will not be denied. He pushes forward. Left hook to send Shawful flying, and now even a sound barrier being committed. Is this an overcommitment by LA, Matt?
It looks like it. I mean, in that position, nothing really you can do if you're the Gladiators. You're still on these.
Have they thrown this round away?
Look, I think that there may not have been a great chance to come back and use those ultimates, so they decide to use it. So they may not even get a touch.
97% and counting. Scant seconds remain. Rory is able to touch the point. He puts a bubble down. He gets one himself. Hydration with the shield up, and Bumper tries to go in over the top, but his boot back. Still, the Titans are able to access the backline. The Gladiators, they get in! Straight through the keyhole. It's a 1-for-1. Shawful is down, but Stitch the Sombra, he's missing. Shaz being protected here, or not, should I say, as Raw's trying to keep him alive, bumping him around, but Raw can't keep everyone on the Gladiators safe. Shaz eventually goes down. The Titans, there is an element of inexorability to them. One round, and they take the first on Ilios here. The Gladiators were 99-0, bear in mind.
And you know, once they, well, I mean, on that point, on Wells specifically, you can get 99-0 and the other team come back pretty quickly. Like, it's one you can stall it out for a very long time. They were just never able to retake the point with the Orisa comp. They did a nice job holding on the point. Orisa really good sustainability. But once they had to take the point back from the Titans, they were not able to do so. So the Gladiators, they'll come out with a damage dealer heavy look. This is what you thought they would throw at the Titans. You have Roar on the solo tanking Wrecking Ball. I mean, these are some of the players on the Gladiators on their absolute best heroes, like Hydration on the Pharah, Sherpor on Sombra, Decay on Widow. I mean, can't ask for much better than this if you're a Gladiator fan.
The best look you could put forward for Los Angeles now. Raw will tie it together with a Wrecking Ball. Not easy for Decay to find shots from this range. He's probably realizing it may not be worth sticking on this hero. Maybe a Tracer switch even from him. There's not a ton to shut that down. No, it's going to be the Gladiators switch to Zarya and Reinhardt. They're going to keep just the one DPS. Sombra goats, baby.
Yeah, now you had the Titans go back and switch to Winston. Now they go back and switch over to Reinhardt. So both teams going to take them a little bit to get to the point, to get the fight going.
Bumper testing the waters here. The Gladiators really don't seem to be inclined to allow him to have the point for free. Look at the timing. The Zarya bubble is there, and Bumper forges ahead to get some early damage. 36% on an Earth Shatter. He'll trade with Raw for the time being. Both Reinhardt being very careful to stay within their safe margins of health. I thought he was going to charge there. With Bumper, you never know. Point was captured, though, by the Titans early.
Twilight hits a Biotic Grenade on a Roar there, and they have to burn Zarya Bubble because he's low, and then he's Biotic Grenade, he can't get any healing. So that's why they have to back up. Now they'll use a Nano Boost here on a Roar to try and get the point back.
He gets Janu, but while he's swinging, he can't keep the shield up and protect his team. In the meantime, Slime has been doing a heck of a lot of work in this map. He gets his second. Bumper goes for the charge. Raw backs away. Did you see that shield bash from Hydration to cancel Bumper's charge? That is next level. 3-player Shatter, and the Gladiators now are in a great position to retake the point here. Slime close to sound barrier, but there's no point using it just for himself. He'll stall for as long as he can. A very annoying presence on the point, but one that is ultimately removed.
And Big Goose ends up using his sound barrier. He knows he's going to have enough time to build back towards one of those ultimates, because you do have EMP, you'll have Rally, and you'll have a grab here in the next fight. They're going to have to burn their sound barrier on the grab if you put it down. And then you get a fight went pretty clean with an EMP.
Look at that, bionic grenade! What a connection from Twilight. And the Gladiators were caught between a rock and a Ryan place. There's not a lot they could have done there. 3 players unable to heal. Shorefall was already low, and it has to be a very quick concession for LA so they can get back. No ultimates used from them, in fairness, but the Vancouver Titans didn't have to either. Except for the Rally.
It's such a nice turnaround, though, for the Titans. Rally, they use that to just get right up in the face of the Gladiators. And I do not think the Gladiators were prepared for that level of aggression. Surefour in a good spot here to land a big EMP. He's off to the left here.
Early grab.
Titans. Yep.
What can they do, though? They can't get Raw. It's going to be a rally from Hydration. There's the EMP. 4 players connected, but Slime holds the sound barrier until after it. It's another big shatter from Raw. Just when the Doctor ordered, the Titans would look like they would have been able to sustain through the EMP because of Slime's excellent timing until Raw took it away from them, pulled the carpet out from under them.
And they've held on to their grab through this, the Gladiators, so looking to bounce back here on this point, but you do have a lot of key ultimates online for the Titans. So Nano, you can Nano Bumper, you can Nano Stitch, let's say. You know, he hits a big EMP, gets a little low, wants to stay in and fight. A lot of options here if you're the Titans. Nano to kick things off.
Look at Raw.
The Gladiators.
Nothing subtle about this at all. He's able to force Bumper back, but he knows he can't forge any further ahead.
He can't go further ahead because Decay was slept behind enemy lines.
Look at this, though. The Titans punish the overextension. They get the EMP connection onto Raw and Decay, and they can punish them. Decay is just left sleeping there as Twilight hits another crucial sleep dart. And Big Goose will get taken down. The Gladiators were able to hold. The positive for LA here is that they didn't use much in that fight, just the Nano to send Raw forward. But again, a very telegraphed attempt at starting a fight ended up costing them.
They could have gotten way more aggressive with that Nano if Decay was not put to sleep by Twilight. You would have had the Zarya Bubble, you would have had Graviton Surge to potentially use as well. That play by Twilight really swung the point back to the Titans.
This will be a very close round.
Yeah.
Decay again, the shield was there! The needle threaded by Twilight to connect. Decay will be working up now, and he's gonna go for a grab immediately now. Again, not subtle, but perhaps effective. Bumper is given a bubble, he's forced back. Hydration in the chaos is taken down early by Huxel, who went deep on his own to find that kill. Big Goose sound barrier, he connected with it, but he's got to drop. EMP comes in after the fact here at Shore4. Shazard Raw make a late resurgence in the fight. A lot had to be used there for Los Angeles, but they had to win that fight. And now they're in a chance to win the round. Just one more. They need to deal with Janu's Graviton Surge, and they don't have a Diva to eat it up.
Yeah, and Roar's had some huge shatters on this point. You get the shatter there, and then I think the EMP comes through. It's like, maybe you would have liked to have one of those for the next fight. You could actually Nano Hydration here if you wanted, and then get the rally on the Brig if you didn't need it, but
It'll be nearly unkillable.
seems like, though, they've been liking the Nano on Aurora as they engage.
95, 96% and counting. It's got to be here, the Vancouver Titans, to make the retake attempt. There's Hydration caught up inside the Graviton Surge. He's taking a fair bit of damage. EMP out from Stitch. It catches 3. Raw's put to sleep. Not looking good for the Gladiators here. They've lost their main tank. They can't back away. They don't have the liberty or the
Nano
time.
Rally Brig.
Here it is. Aggressive from Hydration, but there's plenty of healing available still for the Vancouver Titans. The rally, there's a grab coming up for Decay, and it has to be there. Los Angeles have to hold on as long as they can. Graviton Surge connects. Axel's caught up inside of it. Stitch is able to deal with Hydration, and the shatter will punctuate Bumper's point. It'll be Shore4 falling, and Raw's a little bit too late to the party. I'm afraid nobody's even there. And the Vancouver Titans make it interesting in the final stages of Ilios, but they will take map 1 in this series.
And Stitch was definitely a difference maker on Sombra. We've been wondering how the Titans are going to adapt with this Sombra meta. A lot of teams playing Sombra here in Stage 3. They bring in Stitch off the bench, and he has a phenomenal Game 1.
Great opening for Vancouver. All work to be done. The Gladiators are here for a win. Map 2 is coming up right now.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP. the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Well, you didn't think it would be that easy, did you? So the Gladiators to start the series off with a map win would have been good, but the Titans have made changes. It's clear to see, and it pays off well. By the way, either of these teams could be in Philly at our 2019 Grand Finals. Tickets are on sale, and it is fast approaching. Make plans, get there and hang out as we again capture history.
It's going to be a sick event. I mean, just like last year at the Barclays, I imagine this year is going to be even better. But the Gladiators got so close to taking map number 1 there. I think on Well, you didn't really, I mean, once you lost the point with that like weird like triple tank, Orisa, Winston, Zarya comp, you couldn't really retake. And then on your second point on Ruins, I think, you know, you're just, when Roar hits on Final Shatter, and then Sureforce kind of like EMPing at the same time, I believe. Where if you would have maybe had one of those ults for the next fight, I think you would have been in a good spot to potentially take that one as well.
That Sombra composition for the Vancouver Titans. It's not new necessarily, the composition, but the individuals on those certain heroes are. Stitch and Sureforce went head-to-head. Sureforce only played about 6 minutes. You'll see here's quite a difference as he switched off towards a Brigitte-based composition. So take that with a pinch of salt. Stitch looking pretty reasonable, though.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good numbers for Stitch, obviously over the per 10 minutes for the entire time, just to get Sureforce.
Yeah, you have to blow his stats up a bit, right?
Blow his stats up a little bit, but you see both very comparable in terms of their numbers there for map number 1.
Both are pivotal in those roles. We saw the Gladiators, though, opt away from that Sombra play and, you know, involve the Brigitte a little bit more. The dying moments of Ilios, well, were quite exciting, but again, a couple of picks, early losses really hurt them. We have a substitution here for the Vancouver Titans, by the way, not who you would think. So-Min Soo comes in for Janu.
So this, what it tells me for Horizon is they want to run the Rein Zarya with the Sombra in play. So you can have Stitch stay on Sombra, you can have So-Min Soo play Zarya, which, you know, we talked about So-Min Soo's like ups and downs, seeing him on some of the Sombra when we see him play. But I mean, when this guy was on Zarya for really all of Stage 1, all of Stage 2, you're looking at him as like an MVP
one of the best
up
in the
there,
world.
Up there with Sinatra, right? I mean, you're talking about one of the best Zaryas in the world.
We were handing out player of the matches to him very frequently in Stage 1 and Stage 2.
He's got like 50,000 damage. Serious. It's kind of hard to give it to anybody else. But I mean, I think if you're the Gladiators, you see this substitution, you have a very good idea of what's coming.
Yeah. And you also know that there will unlikely be to be any.
But you would have said, okay, well, maybe we'll game plan for this. But we have not seen this from the Titans yet. So Horizon be map number 2 in the series. Numbani, Gibraltar maps 3 and 4. But like if you're the Gladiators, you probably came in with a game plan. Like, hey, look, let's try and do a lot of the same things that we saw the Valiant run. They were pretty successful with some damage dealers and whatnot. A lot of Sombra play. You see this lineup come out, and you're probably, you know what's going to happen. You just haven't seen it happen just yet. So.
But this is what we were kind of looking forward to. I don't know if we necessarily see that McCree. The Gladiators have a very good assault map record in general. They generally don't stray too far away from this kind of composition, the one that features Bastion. Shore4, one of the most creative players in the game, not afraid to say that this is a hero that he loves to play. He'll need to be moving around quite a lot here. Bastion not very mobile when he's out there putting his best damage forward.
Hydration has gone from a Brigitte specialist to an Orisa specialist overnight. He'll be playing the Orisa here on defense, so they'll be running Orisa Winston, so like a double main tank. Decay on Sombra, then you have the Batiste in for the Immortality field. So,
okay.
All right, here we go. So, usually, Janu would end up playing Wrecking Ball in these types of comps. He is not in the game, so why play a tank at all? So you will have a lot of damage dealers on the field here for the Titans.
I count 4.
Reaper, Sombra, Junkrat, Pharah with a Mercy on Ana in terms of your support.
Bumper making it rain early here. Stitch was put to sleep in one of his forays forward, so this will give the Gladiators some time to heal up, but Bumper's unlikely to keep his finger off mouse 1 at all.
You will get a lot of value here with Roar on the Winston. Although Winston not great against Reaper, he can dive onto those supports in the back line. Not a lot they can do is...
Ooh,
Haxel gets a pick on a Shore4 here, so the Bastion down.
Roar didn't realize what he was dropping into. Solminsu was waiting there with open arms, and there's nothing that Reaper's better at than killing tanks who tend to come to him. Very good at close range, and Solminsu now daring the Gladiators to challenge him on the point. I don't think they're really up for it. Bumper slept on the point, hit with a biting grenade now. You see Shaz is trying to make up some lost ground, but Solminsu sneaks up on him. Rarely do we see the Reaper work from any of these teams, but the Titans have got it on lock.
When Hydration dies, Roar has to go down and contest the point. Shore4 dies. Hydration has to kind of fall back. Roar goes on to contest the point. You're really wanting Hydration, really just in to kind of protect the Bastion.
The Widow switched as well.
Not able to do anything. Yeah, you get the Widow switch in for the Pharah Mercy. Still running the Orisa Winston, the double main tank.
Haxel opens up the fight, pressuring down the barrier. Slime is hacked. Great collapse from the Los Angeles Gladiators, but Stitch was able to find Shore4. Nano boost on the Winston is good, but Roar, he was caught in place with a Junkrat trap. He wasn't able to move, and the Gladiators, the way they saw that going was probably with Roar getting out alive. Oh, Solminsu got a nano boost, but he's put to sleep and be dragged off the edge. He can't get up onto the high ground now. His teleport is still down for another few seconds, so he'll have to be content with getting damage done on the ground. Again, though, he's found Roar. This is exactly the target he wants to go for with the EMP from Decay, only connecting on a couple players. The Gladiators need more. Haxel causing so many issues up on the high ground, and it just seems like there are so many threats for Vancouver. Too many for the Gladiators to handle.
Yeah, so you do have this Death Blossom to kind of put things away, as you do have some players getting on here. Hydration will get on the Wrecking Ball, try and stall it out. Players coming back off the spawn, the Death Blossom comes through.
Very elegant execution here from the Titans, and a great solution to a persistent problem. How do we break the LA Gladiators defense on Assault?
The Titans, they're having a fun day. All smiles up there on the stage. As soon as they take point B, everybody just laughing, high-fiving each other. That's both points with 5 minutes in the bank. Incredible offense there from Vancouver. We'll see the Gladiators answer after this.
After a quick offensive push for the Vancouver Titans, there's one big question I have for the Gladiators. Are you prepared for this? How could you be prepared for this?
You can't. You know, the Titans, they come in with a different lineup today. And then when, you know, you see the Bastion on the other side, the Orisa, they come out with Reaper, Junkrat, Pharah Mercy, Ana, and Sombra, and they set a tremendous time. The Titans do not even consider switching off of it. Doesn't matter.
Which teams often do. They often switch off of the DPS heavy comps for the second point.
This is what you expected when you saw the substitutions in the lineup come out for the Titans today to be playing. They play Ryan Zarya with the 3 supports in Sombra.
Hydration's Pharah. Folk tales already being told about this one in the early years. He's well known on this pick. Decay's Widow as well. This is what the Gladiators attempted for a moment on Ilios. And Hydration's created a lot of space. Look at how he's cleared off this high ground platform and paved the way for the Gladiators to set up here. Oh, there it is. Haxel couldn't get away.
It's all their burst heals. This is looking good here for the Gladiators. Yeah, Bumper, there's nothing they can do to keep him alive.
High ground though, Solminsu trying to capture here. He's got a lot of charge from all this spam damage. And they're gonna catch them out. Slime again. Chase is down, Solminsu, look at him. Puppy had a lot of damage and the Gladiators forget the most important piece of the puzzle while they're busy throwing projectiles at the Titans. Solminsu is getting stronger.
And you know, when you play against the Titans and you have a great advantage like that where you get Haxall early, you can't give those fights away. Like, those are the ones, when you play against a team that's this good, you need to win those. Like, right as they get the kill on a Haxall, both their supports go down. Allows Twilight to build up towards a nano boost. Just look at the, they're really giving him nothing in terms of sightlines here for Decay. I mean, putting down some damage, but
Decay now just needs to try and find an angle, but you're right, the Titans are not showing themselves. They're
look
very
for
aware.
his POV, there's nothing.
Yeah, but the Titans also know Decay can see through walls currently. But who's going to be the one to bail the Gladiators out of this situation now? Hydration has the barrage.
They nanoed Sominsu, so that's gone.
Hydration needs to work in, and yeah, you can see the Titans know where they want to put their eggs. Solminsu again. If he sits on the high ground, it could be problems in Hydration. He has a solution for that issue. Solminsu now is gone, and the Zarya, also Slime is being down. It's not going to be ideal here for the Titans. They are definitely going to lose this point, but a good hold back. Ultimately, they held for about 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
And they pick up Twilight here late and Haxall, so they're going to take this right on to point B.
Vancouver Titans time bank lead might be dwindling now as they get snowballed off the point. Big EMP though, Hydration is forced to land here and the rest of the Vancouver Titans can take their pick. Big Goose is the first casualty and Raw being the second. I don't really think the Gladiators can do much here. They were hoping for a tick from that fight, but a massive connection from Stitch's EMP will deny them that.
They will have the advantage into the next fight though. So you have Surefour's EMP, Decay switch over to Zarya. You are resetting a ton of ultimates across the board.
This is where it gets hard for Los Angeles.
Oh, they slept Stitch.
What can they do here? They need to burst him quickly, they get him! Will they get to the point quickly enough though is the question. Stitch will be back in 3 seconds. And he's very close to the point. It's unlikely the Gladiators are going to be able to capitalize properly, but it did deny Stitch farming time for that EMP. Surefour has one of his own. Bumper seems to be the issue, but Surefour gets caught up in the Graviton Surge. There's no need to go for the EMP now. It may not be worth it. Here's the trade though. Bumper missing early. Surefour is charged, so that EMP definitely off the table, and a biotic grenade like that is a big fat NO. The Gladiators will be forced away once more.
Yeah, as Roar tries to back out the left side, 3 players hit with a biotic grenade. Decay, Big Goose, and Chaz in the middle. They have to back up through the tunnel. No line of sight to potentially heal Roar, hit him with a bubble in a scenario to keep him up, so you have to back up. As now, because you've won 2 fights here, because you're Vancouver, you're built up towards another EMP, so you're back on even footing.
That was the window the Gladiators needed to exploit. Stitch has been generating these EMPs pretty darn quickly. About 1:36 per EMP. Surefour is 2:26 EMP there. Only connects with 2 here. Twilight's in a safe position. He look at that biotic grenade, throws it down defensively, and it wasn't even close.
I'm shocked the Gladiators tried to EMP that. It was like a solo EMP, and then Stitch is up in the rafters right above them. He doesn't get hit by it, just drops down, lands a huge EMP.
Twilight is sitting on the platform on the other side of the point. The Titans were so split. and it worked in their favor. The Gladiators, to their credit, haven't used much more than that EMP, but how do you win a fight from here if you're LA?
Yeah, I mean, from the Gladiators' perspective, you could look at it as, okay, they used EMP because of our EMP in a reactionary manner. We trade those out. We have the advantage in a lot of other areas. Roar gets hacked, has to buck back up.
Big Goose needs to be kept alive here, but he can't currently be healed. There's the Graviton Surge, and the Shatter came out at the same time. Everything being thrown at the Gladiators now, but Bumper may have gone too deep. There's the Shatter into the grab. This might be the answer. Twilight sitting in that back corner, and Roar is put to sleep, but only for a moment. Brief moment of rest, and then back to an honest day of work. Twilight sitting in that corner, cannot contest on his own, and the Titans are waiting for a chance to regroup. They'll have one shot at this, it's gonna have to be good. EMP, decent connection, Roar struggling here, can't put up his shield, his team desperately trying to keep him alive, but Huxal's down, there's Bumper, he's dropped as well, the stun connects and an EMP follows up, it's 5! What a connection! The Gladiators now need to finish the job, but Twilight is hacked and put to sleep, and he really can't do much about it. Some adjustments in the seats, and the Gladiators stay in the mix.
Sominsu lands a pretty good grab to start the fight, and they don't have to use anything, and then Bumper charges hydration out of it, but a nano boost gets on a hydration, keeps him up, rally, then the Gladiators start to turn the fight. They complete A and B, not a lot of time in their time bank though. 2:31, we'll go into extra innings after this.
First thing you want to look at is those time banks at the top of your screen. Both teams have finished the map once, but Vancouver have about double the LA Gladiators time bank at 5 minutes and 4 seconds. And with LA's difficulty in the past defending against what the Titans comp was, we'll have to see how they go. But first, because they have less of a time bank, they have to attack.
Probably a Sonic arrow out here from Shaz just to see if Stitch is lingering. Now he'll switch over to Ana. Do they want to stay on this again? You know, they were able to take point A, it just took a little bit to materialize. Ooh,
dangerous.
Almost not, that was a concussive blast into a headshot there.
So Minsu trying to batten down the hatches now. Decay loved a bit of extra damage here, but again, that needs damage that can be healed. So Minsu has 400 health points. Decay cannot kill him in one shot.
You block so much sightline though, between the forest spam from one side and then you can't move to the other side because you're just going to go into the Widowmaker sides.
By the same token though, tough for Decay to really see a lot of this action right now. He's playing safe. Again, hydration needs to keep Sominsu off of this platform. That is the main win condition here for the Gladiators. Getting rid of the Zarya. Hydration now will move to the point and deny again some more progress. They're going to get an extra tick here. Looks like maybe more. Sominsu was not knocked off. Still in a great spot. Look at him getting more charged by Hydration shooting at him, but Hydration has no choice. He has to put pressure some way, and that's how far it does it.
And the issue is that Roar can get on the point, but he can't just take like a 1v1 against Bumper here. So Bumper knows he just needs to stand on the edge of the point, contest, keep the shield up.
Shaz in trouble. Oh, the sleep dart to save Shaz's life, but what do they do about a problem like Sominsu? Just this, push him away, and there it is, he's dealt with. What a great opener from Shaz, and with Stitch out of the picture now, it's time to get aggressive. Hydration could push up here. You see Bumper trying to get into the high ground. Keep an eye on Slime, he could cause issues, and that's why he got hacked straight away. Hydration with the rocket finisher now. There is a barrage, should it be required? Hydration saving it. Bumper's out of the picture now, he charged away, and he got picked up off of the point. The Titans are stalling things out here, but the Gladiators are finally broken through, and they'll have a crack at getting point B once more.
I was going to say, the biggest key for the Gladiators was to try and hold on to as many ultimates as they could. They have an EMP barrage combo, Valkyrie, the nano boost, minefield, pretty much everything here in play.
Straight away, they're going to use it. That's the EMP. Minefield goes out, but the Titans had one of their own here. Hydration is put to sleep. He's vulnerable. He's able to get up, but he was hacked, so we can't take to the skies. He's forced to stand there, and Stitch goes for the hack again. Twilight gets 2 kill credits for that fight. And then EMP, the minefield combo, Matt. What did it count for in the end?
Yeah, it didn't really get much of anything as you did not connect with Stitch. He comes out, lands an EMP of his own.
You have to be switching here, right?
Decay switches over to Zarya. I think you probably want to really try and get a use of this barrage. Maybe let's say you can get behind, cause some action on the high ground here.
One last chance now for the Gladiators. This is where it has to happen. 7 seconds left in the round. And Hydration will set himself up on his perch, but Stitch was there. Early hack on Big Goose there. More of an annoyance than anything else at this stage, but Hydration has so many things to worry about. Gonna go for the barrage and he gets Solmitsu again. Big first pick. More work to be done though. Hydration is hacked, but he's able to get up into the sky and sit on the perch. He will be chased there by Bumper. Bumper trying to get into the backline, but so far Decay's been a good doorman, but he will not be denied now. The Primal Rage. Bumper has a hunger that's not yet been satisfied. In the meantime though, Stitch is taking down Big Goose with Slime out of the picture. Both teams have traded away key supports and Bumper now returns to the fight. He is low though. He's gonna need some healing real quick, but Raw can't afford to lift his shield. He can't afford to swing. He gets taken down and Solmitsu makes the key McCree switch. And so the Vancouver Titans shut the door on the Gladiators here on point B, establishing their win condition for this match.
I think the biggest thing is now what do the Gladiators do on defense? They came out with a Bastion setup the last time. It got broken fairly easy by the no tank damage dealer heavy setup of the Titans.
What's plan B?
Do you come out with that again, or do you have a plan B? Do you think you have something that works against that counter? It'll be very interesting now as the Gladiators go on defense.
Or is it a question of execution? If you're the Gladiators, do you say, well, that composition theoretically should be fine. We just made some individual mistakes. Maybe they don't mix it up at all.
Right, is that it? Do you feel like you played it poorly positionally? Do you feel like it was a flaw in the comp overall? You come out here, this would be the same exact look they had on offense, but obviously on the defensive side now.
Maybe a little bit safer than going with that Bastion bunker setup. Or is it though, really?
I mean, it's not as much staying power on the point, obviously, like we talked about with the Wrecking Ball as opposed to playing. I mean, they were playing a Risa Winston, so double main tank in the last time. I think you want to take the Winston out of it because you're scared of that Raper. You could have avoided it trying to put pressure on the support, but when the Winston has to go to contest the point, it just gets chunked down.
Have a look at this map. The Titans, completely different composition than what we just saw from them.
Bumper probably just rolls out to see what's going on, and then they go, I can switch, yeah.
All right.
They'll probably play Ryan.
Sombra Ryan with the Zarya in here for Solmitsu. Again, the high ground for Zarya. It looks really
more
good.
damage dealers. They'll play Winston. Are we going to see the Winston? Looks like they're still trying to make some
I feel like the Gladiators composition is supposed to counter Winston setups or pressure the hack. It's definitely, the Gladiators comp is definitely strong as Reinhardt, so I can see why the Titans are going for this.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play like a Sombra variation of Goats, you'd probably play the Winston version into this. Like, Ryan just kind of gets poked and chipped down from every different direction against this.
Decay is such a safe player, isn't he? Look at the sideline choice of sightline for him. He's not brash or flashy. He doesn't step out in the open like Timey was yesterday for the fuel. He really trying to play percentages here.
He doesn't want to shoot Bumper right as he's standing there. It looks like that was just way too much of a bait play.
Yeah. Stitch had to get out though. Twilight got picked off by Decay. A great start, and Bumper realizes without his Ana, he has no staying power. He can't hang around. He'll get blown up. Look at that. Decay has Infrasight already after 40 seconds.
Yes, he gets 2 pickoffs really early as soon as Bumper goes in. Takes out Twilight, takes out Stitch. Take a look here.
Yeah, no risks really, just playing a safe pick to the high ground. Lovely. Centimeter perfect.
Is there any better sound? It's like when you land those double headshots back to back.
No, you know what? Apparently the sound was sort of modeled after the sound of like popping a cap of your favorite beverage. So there you go. It was supposed to be very cathartic experience, and it works. All right, Decay, what do you do here? Stitch doesn't hang around for long. You see Bumper was trying to follow up on Stitch, and now Stitch has left him up there. Sure 4, that's a hack on the Slime. No speed boost for the Titans here.
And they nano Bumper just so he can get up to the high ground and try and put some more pressure, but they don't get anything with that.
Stitch getting out so quick. Not ideal, but Bumper hung around here. Decay, maybe not realizing that he was still there. They've lost Slime Shaz. That sleep dart looks like it didn't connect. The hack is not going to keep him alive. Bumper just holds mouse 1. Haxel was taken down though by that barrage and Hydration. Needs to clear Solmitsu. Doesn't want to get too close though. A bit of a difficult catch-22 for him to navigate currently. Roar is hacked, has a minefield, but is very low. It looks like the Gladiators just need to wait.
You can give up 2 ticks here.
Oh, very clever. Solminsu uses his personal bubble so he actually doesn't get displaced by concussive blast. Monastic is on the point. One more rocket and it would be his doom. He had EMP as well.
But his translocator was destroyed. They knew where his translocator is. I saw Hydration do it on the last round. They do it again this time, so he can't EMP and then translocate out. So he just would have been stuck on the point.
Layers upon layers to this mental chess game. Bumper trying to push out. He's getting close. Oh, the Gladiators have left it. They were not looking for that at all, and now they're in trouble. They're so close as the Titan spawn has been moved up. They have to get out. They may have thrown things away now.
I mean, Big Goose getting Twilight here towards the end may be huge.
Look at this.
Well, now you lose hydration.
They're just so fast. He can sit on the point. Raw will challenge it. He's EMP straight away. And then the rest of the Titans emerge from the shadows and descend upon the Wrecking Ball. Surefour also getting hacked, but he's able to get his EMP off 5 players. Solminsu is still able to let the Graviton Surge go. Didn't look very good, unfortunately, but it may not matter here. The Gladiators have fallen. They've opened the door. They just let the Titans walk in. And they've got to be upset about that. That is tough going into halftime, 0-2, when you were so close, especially on Horizon Lunar Colony. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and that is a very angry logo and a very hungry one as well. Great to have Caden and Hayden here joining us for some Overwatch League action. Pleasure to have you here. We're having a great time here at the arena as we head into our halftime, and we'll hear from our experts on what can be done here on the Gladiators to bring this back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
It's a win and in situation for the Titans in this one, and now they're only 1 map away from securing their spot in the Stage 3 playoffs, up 2-0 over the Gladiators at the break. What's up, everybody? The band is here for halftime. Guys, coming into this matchup, the Vancouver Titans, they're trying to overt having a 0-2 skid to both of the LA teams. They look very angry going into this one, though. They've been playing mad-like here.
This team looks phenomenal, honestly. Like the Vancouver Titans that we knew that they were always capable of, you know? It was a weird little stint where they were falling down a little bit, but yeah, looking better.
I love it though. Like, okay, so they took a bit of a hit, and now they're coming back stronger than ever, actually showing us different kind of compositions on both maps. They rolled that with actual triple DPS compositions, which was great to see, something we haven't really seen much of them, but they're very much capable. Also, we saw Stitch in the lineup, which worked out great for them. He's a phenomenal Sombra, really.
This killed me though. The Gladiators, they rolled out with a cute strategy, hydration on the Orisa. They like to flex onto this. It didn't work out for them on the initial round, and on the second round, I mean, it was Raw really playing out of his mind. But what got the better of them was Stitch a lot of the time as well, with his hacks, with his EMPs. And we're going to touch on Stitch a little bit later as well.
Twilight hit so many great sleep darts. At the end of this map, he was at 8 combined sleeps over the 2 maps, and a lot of great bios.
Yeah, the amount of times he took Decay out of the fight with a sleep dart was phenomenal, honestly.
You're right. It's almost a shame that they lost that first map because Roar was killing it on the Reinhardt. And then moving here onto Horizon, we got to see a crazy look from the Vancouver Titans right off the bat. They had the Reaper going.
I love this. The quad DPS are like, you know, Gladiators are going to run cheese strats at us. No, we're going to run the cheese strats at you. I don't know if we've seen the bumper junk wrap before, but I mean, it kind of disappointed, but kind of didn't. You know, it was mediocre like the rest of his DPS.
Excuse me, but Bumzo is my favorite thing ever. And I mean, the Junkrat, it suits some chaos, so that kind of worked for them. But overall, this was once again Stitch. It was very much Twilight. They brought Somin Su in, which I very much liked. I wasn't really sold on Janu on that Zarya, so it was good to see them bring in Somin Su in for that extra damage on that Zarya.
What we didn't see from this map here, they missed the C9 that happened literally on the final round. This map was so winnable to Gladiators, which is going to be it's like frustrating, right?
Yeah.
Any Gladiators fans are going to be watching that, thinking to themselves, they could be 1-1 right now at the half, like quite easily. Or actually, I mean, it's theoretically possible that they could be 1-1, and I think they're going to be kicking themselves because
from the C9 into the snowball, it was just so many mistakes that they made in the map. They could have won. It was super winnable. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Sombra play that we've been seeing between both of these teams. More namely, what we're seeing on the Titans side, because a lot of people criticize them for their Sombra, but it looks like this game, Stitch is going in.
Yeah, Stitch, a phenomenal player. Like, if you've been following Overwatch in general, even back in the Apex stage, you'll know Stitch as a fantastic hit scan player. He likes to play McCree, likes to play Tracer. There's a lot of transferable skills over there, but Sombra kind of have to think a lot more. But it's almost night and day when Stitch is on the Sombra compared to Somin Su.
It really is, and I love how much synergy they already have. The follow-ups on his EMPs and hacks was phenomenal. He's coming in with an EMP, Twilight instantaneously turns out with the bio grenade to really open it up for his team, and the rest is just cleanup work for the rest. So overall, that was just really, really great calling on whoever is doing that for the Titans.
Yeah, so what's very interesting about this match is it's been pretty close for the most part, aside from the mistakes the Gladiators have made. So moving forward, let's take a look at our map set and what maps we have coming up, because I want to know from you guys, who do you think, could potentially steamroll in this second half? Can the Gladiators get back into this game? We're going to Numbani next. Is this a map where they can run one of those bunker comps that we love to see them run?
So here's the thing, Malik. Numbani as well as Gibraltar, Titans are currently undefeated on both of those maps in this stage, so it's going to be tough. However, if the Gladiators get to do it, I would think it would be on Numbani, because they're actually, I think they have a fair good record on it. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really tough for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a silver lining here. You can run a lot of DPS comps attacking Numbani first.
Yes.
But generally speaking, you're going up against a kind of reformed Vancouver Titans, a rejuvenated Vancouver Titans, with Stitch coming in, playing the Sombra, and as well, Gibraltar is going to be even more difficult. I mean, normally they run Somin Su on that first defense with Sombra, but now they've got Stitch, who's playing a better Sombra than him, and they're running Somin Su at the same time as well with his, very good Zarya that's currently, I believe, statistically second in the league. So this is going to be very hard for the Gladiators. They're going to be kicking themselves after that loss on Horizon, which was very winnable.
That's right. The Gladiators are going to have to step it up, because this is, like you said, a rejuvenated Vancouver Titans team, an angry Vancouver Titans team, and they're just one map away from punching their ticket to the Stage 3 playoffs. We're going to find out if they can do that in just a bit. Stay tuned, everyone.
I started watching some streams of the pros, and the pros were amazing, and one of the biggest guys I saw was awesome was Hydration. He was part of the Gladiators.
Suddenly I'm at every game, and
the beautiful LEDs, the cheers of the crowd.
It shields up. It's thunderous applause. It's roaring in the arena. It's a lot of clap, clap, stomp, stomp. You just kind of get sucked into it.
And I've been hooked ever since.
The Vancouver Titans had their historic win streak of 19 matches snap last week. LA has been a consistently solid team all season, but this Sunday they can make a statement. Gladiators, Titans, match of the week.
And I believe it was Huxell in an interview recently said that the Titans did not expect to go all season undefeated. They probably expected to, drop a match in stage 4. It happened earlier than they thought, but it looks like they're not willing to allow that to happen today.
No, it's been a very close first 2 maps, but I really think the big difference has been Stitch on the Sombra. Like the halftime crew had mentioned, he's been playing really well. They've been following up on his EMPs. Great. This also allows them to get pretty creative, bringing Sominsu into the lineup at map number 2 for Janu. A lot of nice adjustments here today from the Titans.
There are actually multiple forms of the Vancouver Titans roster that could facilitate a ton of different styles of play. We've seen Bumper, come out of the gates at least on some damage dealers. Often the Titans have turned around and realized that wasn't the ideal composition. That wasn't what they wanted to go with. But there is a world where, there's a world where you could almost sub Bumper out. I'm not saying they're going to do it, okay? Don't at me, fans. They could have Janu on the tank, 3 DPS. They could do so many combinations here, as Janu is quite a prolific Wrecking Ball player. Sominsu, by the way, was a Reaper main. That was his first sort of main in Overwatch. We finally got to see that bust out on Horizon.
Now, what do you do if you're the Gladiators coming out of halftime? You come out with the same exact lineup, same exact players in, no subs for either side. Do you keep running these different compositions? It's not exactly working. Do you try and run like Ryan Zarya with a Sombra and run like, a Sombra Goats type of setup? What do you attempt to do? Bigu's very, very tired.
Very stimulated, isn't he? Yeah. Would you say that the Gladiators are an emotional team, Matt? Would you say that they take, being down 0-2 hard? They seem pretty resilient.
No, I wouldn't say they're an emotional team. I know their coach Deepe. I think he's probably more of a fiery guy.
I think he's the most emotional guy on the team.
Yeah, I used to love last year when we used to be down in the little closet, the little caster closet. He would come in and give these great speeches to the team, really get them fired up. I'm like, man, he's more ready to play than they are.
And the players were like,
barge out the door, run down the tunnel. I'm like,
and the players were like, wow, Deepe, that was great. Thank you.
Yeah, I loved it.
But no, it wasn't that they didn't appreciate it. That's just how they are. You've got 2 Finns on this team. They're very chill. Yeah. Anyway, we're on Numbani, and it's going to be the Gladiators to defend here to start with. And Matt, they're playing that same sort of defensive setup they had on Horizon, which definitely improved a bit when they went to that second defense in extra time.
So it looks like for the Titans, a lot of changing.
Oh, what is this?
So they want to go with the Reaper again. So usually in these 3 DPS setups, you see whether it's like a Widowmaker or whatnot, they go back and they switch. You'd play like a, okay, I was gonna say, you'd play like a Winston version of the 3-3 here. You dive onto the high ground, you have Stitch on the Sombra. And I tell you what, I mean, the winner of this, obviously, you know, they go to the playoffs, stage 3 playoffs. This is pretty good practice for the Titans. Like, if you can make this work against the Gladiators, Gladiators, one of the better teams in the league, you have a good chance to make it work against
Great
anybody.
dive.
And they lose hydration as well, so you lose 2.
It's likely what happened there for hydration is that Winston bubble that Bumper put down would have caused him to hit himself in the face with his own rocket.
Oh, Big Goose gets slept trying to go for the resurrection here, so you're not even going to get the res off, as this is so fast for the Titans.
Oh man, 5 minutes 32 on the clock, and it all starts with a great dive to the high ground. In fact, it just looked like good execution from the Titans. Hydration maybe helped things along by...
They're going to switch to Ryan here. They see Ryan on the other side, they're going to go back.
Yeah. Here you go. Here you go. December 2017. Man, we were in what? We were in Sweden, weren't we?
Sweden, yeah.
We were in DreamHack. Way before Overwatch.
That is a very long time to have not have dropped this map. It's not good signs for the Gladiators. You're down 0-2 in the hole, and you see, maybe that stat in the back of your mind. Not looking good right now. Hydration gets hacked, so no repair pack here for Roar. That's gonna buy them some space.
Let's see what the Titans, if they really have to do much here. Again, it's a matter of them waiting for the Gladiators to try something. Twilight can make a play for the high ground by hitting a sleep dart. That one was wishful, if anything. Okay, so Bumper just got hacked there, but these teams are attempting to trade in a neutral scenario here. So just kind of going head-to-head and seeing which Reinhardt can get more damage done if they can avoid getting discorded. Is very much a cornerstone of the play we're seeing right now. Stitch hits it. Oh, he hits it well, doesn't he? Straight away, and that's all you need. A good EMP is worth 2 or 3 ults of other kinds. Bumper will clean up, and oh dear, this has been a very average start from the Gladiators, Matt.
Average would be a nice way to put it.
I'm a nice guy.
You weren't close to Transcendence, you weren't close to Sound Barrier, so nothing you can do to save yourself from that EMP coming through. Now the Gladiators, they want to play around their own EMP. The bad part is you have Sound Barrier, Nano, Route, I mean everything pretty much on the board here.
Stitch.
The Titans.
You're going to hack on Shaz as well, so there'll be no Transcendence opportunity for him. Not for now, anyway.
They don't even need their
There's
barrier.
no follow-up on the EMP. Not enough anyway. No one from the Titans was felled. Just a bit of disruption in the backline from Stitch was enough to get the job done. Now they have a Transcendence late, but this never works.
They back out. They know that they're trying to use this Transcendence to get aggressive. They want to build the K's grab. Big shatter from Roar, but there's the Sound Barrier.
3 players caught by that one, but again, the Vancouver Titans pretty comfortable. They're just going to persist through the attempts. Bumper shielding up. Decay's looking for him here. Decay constantly being forced to try and switch charges. He's able to get Twilight, but that's it. And the Vancouver Titans have hardly been stopped at all here. 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. A team that has been known to break attacking records on payload maps before. This may not be any different. Selminsu close to a Graviton Surge. It could be all over here. Raw gets grabbed up, but is there going to be any follow-up? Going to be a Bardic Grenade coming from the Gladiators to keep him alive, and they get a grab of their own, but the shatter is good! It is great! Big Goose knocked up, and he's in trouble too. There it is, the Titans finish the map. Minimal to no resistance from the Los Angeles contingent.
That was quick. The Titans complete the map. 4 minutes plus in the time bank. Only 2 kills the entire first half there for the Gladiators. We got to see some signs of life on their offense after this.
for your interest, that attacking time for the Vancouver Titans ranks at 4th in all-time fastest finishing attacks on Numbani, so not bad for a day's work here from the Vancouver Titans. Coming up next, though, the fun don't stop. San Francisco also trying to find their way into our Stage 3 playoffs. They should be there, but will they be spoiled by the Spitfire? That's going to be on Twitch, the ESPN app, and Disney XD. Hang around for it.
You never know which London shows up. It could be the world champs from last year.
The eternal frustration of that team.
Yeah, it's like never know which one's going to be at the arena that day. So Titans, they're going to keep on the Winston on defense to combat against some of the damage dealers, and then they'll play the 3 supports with the Zarya and the Sombra to round things out.
This Heart and Zoe from Decay has to be a concession to Bumper, saying, okay, if I'm playing Widowmaker, I can't do anything against you on Winston.
They switch, they play Tracer here. So you want to get that dive into the back, try and get on a Twilight, make his life a little bit more difficult. Well, they got a hack here on the Big Goose, so he can't get in the sky with hydration.
Yeah. Both Mercy and Farah can't really take to the skies when they're hacked. Bumper could be in trouble here, I think. Yeah, I think Raw's got the measure of him here in this backside route. What a sleep dart! Twilight never fails to entertain.
Their help for Bumper's unreal. I mean,
I thought he was done there in that 1v1 against Raw.
So he's in the street and he's fighting Decay and he puts down his Winston bubble and Roar rolls through and knocks him out of the bubble and gets him in a one-on-one. Oh, that is just...
Get wrecked.
Ain't nothing you can do about that.
Not a thing. Some of the very best in the world on these sleep darts in recent days. It's Kareem level, yeah.
Yeah.
Or is Kareem Twilight level? That's the question. Bumper will be just trying to stay out of line of sight as much as he can. Gives Raw a tickle as he comes across. Raw's hit with a biting grenade in the back there, so he's in trouble. The Titans giving up a lot of space on the point here. This might be Raw's plan. Hydration hacked for a while, able to take to the skies once more, and they've got 2 ticks of permanent progress. Now the Titans will have to commit. Bumper comes forward, he gets a nano boost. He was hacked for a moment, but now he's ready to fight. He gets straight into the back line. Shaw falls down as Haxal meets him with a shield bash, unceremoniously ejecting him from combat. Bumper to the high ground, and that's going to be tough now for Shaz to even be involved in this fight. And as a result, the Gladiators just back away, just from the zoning of Bumper.
Yeah, Bumper dives in. You also have the nano boost effects rally as well, so you have to back up. You also did lose 1 at the beginning of the fight. The EMP from Sherpor has to be good, but the Titans can play so spread.
I mean, you cannot get everybody on the Titans with an EMP unless you force them to commit to the point first. So they have to wait on it, which means that Hydration needs to be the one starting this off. That was an EMP actually from Stitch, and it caught Hydration and Big Goose. The Farah Mercy combo having their weak clip.
EMP Bumper and back by the spawn.
I mean, it works. We saw so many solo grabs, Matt, in the Stage 1 and 2 finals, especially between Vancouver and San Francisco.
But now you lose Roar, and what? You have the Zarya and the Brigitte who can just hang out over by the point.
That had to connect from Decay. Zominsu going down a shortfall, though, when Hydration's in a safe spot. He needs to deal with Twilight. Twilight's forced out of line of sight, and that's dangerous now for the rest of the Titans who are playing on the point. You're not coming back for that one, Stitch. No translocator set, and the Gladiators do take point A. Lost a lot of time in doing so, though.
Do they stay on this moving forward?
Twilight's still in the back corner.
Towards the end out of this, so. Because the Titans will answer back with some ultimates. So Roar's going to go back and switch. They're going to play with Reinhardt. Does Hydration give up? Maybe you stay on this for a little bit because you're close to Valkyrie. You have Barrage already. So before you switch off all of the supports, you may as well get use out of this Nano, Valkyrie, and Barrage before you actually just give them away for nothing.
Titans still on the Winston here, so the Gladiators ostensibly favor that matchup. Zominsu has a Graviton Surge. He's straight into the back line. Only Shaz's caught, but Shaz got hacked. It was cleansed immediately, though, by the bubble. Shaz did have a chance to throw down his own biotic grenade to keep him alive, threw it at his feet. It wasn't enough. However, Shaz has been brought back to life. The Vancouver Titans may have to dig a little bit deeper for a solution in this fight. After their first 2 ultimates, give them very little. Stitch is hacked. He just got EMP and he's hacked currently. That's so nasty. What can Hydration do now? Why there's no chance of him getting brought down to earth? That's what he can do. He connects with Twilight. Long-range rocket Decay, though, going down. Losing the Zarya here is bad news for the Gladiators.
And even worse, you lose your Sombra as they have EMP, so... Bumper will get away. Don't be too scared. You got Slime there with the speed boost.
This team also notoriously good for peeling bumper out of even the most compromising of circumstances.
So like I mentioned, you use the Valkyrie, Nano, and the Barrage because you want to switch off of this moving forward. 5-player EMP there from Stitch.
I mean, his EMP efficiencies look so good on this map, even against a Gladiators team who is sometimes playing that triple DPS comp that spreads out.
Is it kind of weird? Like, why did it take the Titans like this long to go to this comp? Like, is it something that maybe they were practicing throughout the stage and they didn't want to show until the final moment that they're able to play this lineup?
I don't know. I thought Johnny was a serviceable Zarya. There might be other reasons for it, though. Hydration runs over.
I would say serviceable is way different than top 2, 3 in the league, though. I mean, Soman 2 provides a ton on his
This definitely feels like a min-maxing of Vancouver's options, right? It looks good so far. Raw tries to get forward there. He's put to sleep, which means the rest of the Gladiators, they can't chase. They're going to take too much damage to the face if they pursue. This fight here is very important. The Titans could really mess this map up in general for the Gladiators.
Yeah, the Shadow's lost there, so don't have the Shadow anymore. Grab comes down from Soman.
Oh, Decay's already missing.
On a Decay.
A cheaply won fight. The rally was there and maybe it wasn't even necessary in the end. But this still allows the Titans now. They build up Twilight's Nano Boost. That can go to Bumper. That will feed him an Earth Shatter quicker. Stitch quite likely will have an EMP for the next fight. And the Gladiators, this could be their last chance right here.
Yeah, and for the Gladiators, you know, you have to grab. Maybe you end up using the rally.
What on earth? Look at that stat.
That's kind of nuts.
A quarter of the Titans' final blows in this match have been assisted by Twilight. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, 41 total final blows too. They solo grab Soman 2, trying to get him out of the fight. They're not able to, so he gets the Nano.
EMP comes in, lights out for the Gladiators. Bust out the candles, because that's all you've got. Shaz forced to back away now. There's an EMP sound barrier. Big Goose, Shaz, and Decay benefit from it, but they're in no position to contest right now. They have to just throw themselves at it. And it was this fight, and it had to be here. And the Gladiators just didn't have this right stuff. And with that map win, the Vancouver Titans have assured themselves victory in this series to the disappointment of many in this room. The Los Angeles Gladiators were no match for them, not even close when it came to that Numbani performance. And they'll have to turn around now and start thinking about that map differential, but you can see they're less than impressed. Next map is right around the corner.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности!
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. The undefeated Vancouver Titans were trying to keep their perfect record intact against the Chengdu Hunters on Hollywood, defending the last stretch of the payload. When it looked like the Titans were losing the defense, Slime snuck behind the backline and booped 3 Hunters directly into the path of Janu's Diva ult.
Well, while the Vancouver Titans may have secured themselves this series, they have not secured themselves the Pacific Division title. However, a victory in this last map of the series will make sure that they have that. The Hangzhou Spark will not be able to challenge them for it. If they lose this map, though, Hangzhou Spark will be the Pacific Division leader. This is where we stand right now.
Yeah, so you see the divisions, the Atlantic on the left, Pacific on the right. See the Spark, they have clinched. The Valiant, they have clinched as well. So this map would get the Titans in a tie with the Hangzhou Spark and push them over the top.
That Atlantic Division looks rough. So there you go. Straightforward stuff here. Obviously, this map we're referring to. Spark clinched if Gladiators win this map. Obviously, the series is already out of their hands. So, a lot on the line still. And we're going to be heading into our fourth map in just a moment. The Gladiators definitely have to, chin up a little bit more.
So, as we get into the final map, this lineup for the Titans. New one today. You had John who played map number 1. And then you had Somansu come in for everything else. They've really looked tremendous with this lineup. And I just want to note as well, for all the Gladiators fans, they are not out per se yet. They would need a lot of help, though, to get in.
Yeah, tough match for them to have to hinge their playoff hopes on, but that is how the league works.
But eventually you got to beat, like if you're going to get to the playoffs, and everyone obviously has aspirations to win a stage, win it all, you have to beat the top teams. You can only get so far kind of feasting on everybody else.
Vancouver have always looked good on this map in general, Matt. Gibraltar has been the scene of many of their big victories. Although rarely has it been a such an important map. Quite often the Titans, as they have today, have already won the series by the time they get here. Let's see what they can pull out for us. Nothing really out of the ordinary on defense from them here, and you're maybe not surprised to see this at all. Stitch has just looked excellent in that Sombra position. You have someone who was crowned or considered to be the best diva in Korea on your bench, so you're putting forward your best 6.
Do the Gladiators decide to run this or switch off of it? So Shaz with Sonic. Surefour on Diva here, so Roar. Play the Orisa, you'll get Decay set up on the payload, so you get good old pirate ship bunker composition.
Nah, Surefour's jealous right now. Here it is, though. Immortality field going to be dropped down, but Decay gets charged out of it. It gets destroyed, but Bumper's not able to complete the kill. Decay now has to try and keep himself healed up and play musical chairs. It's going to be a tough one now as Huxa's going to run straight into him. The shield's going to protect him for a little while, but now with the bullets coming in, Decay, he wasn't able to heal himself up. Very well dealt with was that Bastion.
And that is Twilight from the high ground hitting a 3-player Bionic Grenade. Slime finishing him off here as we already have an EMP in play for Stitch.
Slime has 3 final blows, that's cool. Stitch has 1, that's it.
And now you have to switch off of this if you're the Gladiators, you would think, is they'll go and run a standard 3-3, at least for now. Maybe Surefour, yep. Surefour can play Diva. You wouldn't, it's not something that you would figure ideal. If you have him in the game, you'd rather just see them play Sombra than that Diva.
Look at that manual hack there.
You don't even need the EMP.
No. Decay struggling in that one. Hydration Shaz.
Bumper takes Roar for a ride off the side of the map.
The Vancouver Titans look really comfortable here. I mean, this may be quite the short map. The Gladiators having switched compositions means that they do put themselves behind in terms of ultimate generation. The issue is that, no one on the Titans have really had to use theirs either. It's just been the rally, the least consequential ultimate on that side of the map.
I think this is probably where Stitch's EMP will come in, as you have Bumper coming back into the fold here. What are the Gladiators trying to do? They're trying to get down towards the top of the bridge. Roar gets bumped into a hole.
Even though he stays up on the high ground map, he gets EMP'd. Hydration taken down by a Bionic Grenade, and it's all about the supports on the Titans so far in this map. But what is that nano boost for?
Yeah, they use the nano on a Decay, and then he gets Biotic Grenaded, and we're also wondering at the beginning of today how the Titans bounce back after a loss. They bounce back in a dominating fashion thus far. The payload moving back towards the Gladiators spawn here, as they only have 1:30 to go.
Graviton connection here from the high ground. Big Goose is hacked just in case he had any tricks up his sleeve, and once more the Vancouver Titans deftly parry his latest stab from the Gladiators. Not even close. The Gladiators currently only have 2 kills to their name on this map. The Titans have 20.
And they're really, I mean, this is final chance here for the Gladiators. You have a nano, rally, and sound barrier. It's going to be way harder, I think, for Surefour to connect with everybody with the EMP. Like, a lot of players can spread out,
But
a lot of like walls and high ground here. If they don't hit like a sick one, I mean, they're in trouble.
EMP or bust now.
They have someone who slept on the high ground.
Okay, caught him out. Great pick for the Gladiators. That's the opener they're looking for. Maybe that EMP's not even necessary now. Vancouver Titans will try and back away, but the payload isn't moving currently. So the Gladiators can get kills here, but they're spending a lot on this fight. They had to, though. They had no choice. And now with 29 seconds, the payload is able to start moving. Can the Titans can get back for this, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. If you're the Titans, let them rally, let them shatter. You come back. You have 5 ultimates here.
So we'll see how this this shadow goes for Rory. Drops down. You're not missing anything, by the way. You can see. Look at that. Big drop down. Guess they needed it after all, but here it is. Solminsu again. Fantastic recovery for the Gladiators. They know they have to isolate the enemy Zarya, and they get rid of Solminsu early in the fight. Both teams now going for the sound barriers, and Stitch is put to sleep. EMP, he had it, but he's already used it. Sound barrier from the Los Angeles Gladiators has now decayed away, and Shaz is going to go for that nano boost. Raw can push the payload forward. Bumper was waiting for the nano himself, but now he needs to step forward. He's looking for a big shatter here. The Gladiators will be on high alert for that kind of thing. Bumper, he pushed past the shield of Raw. He got into the back line. Who keeps letting this man into the cookie jar? He's far less concerned about his figure than he is winning this game, though. Raw knocked away the Doomfist from Solminsu, and that will be enough to get the job done. The Gladiators spent so much on just getting the payload moving that when it came time to fight for the round, they didn't have enough.
Stitch getting an EMP every 56 seconds. 16 limbs, 4
That's
final
super
blows,
fast.
0 deaths. I mean, the guy has made a huge impact. So, I mean, every time, it's crazy, right? Like, the commotion starts to happen, and like, how many clips do we have of like Bumper just like kind of flanking in the middle of a team fight, like hitting a crazy shatter? Like, he comes through with them time and time again. The shatter there towards the end. Solminsu with the nice switch on the Doomfist. Doomfist very good at just getting back stalling, just like one-shot kill potential there.
When you have spawn advantage, it is a huge boon. And even if you don't, it's a great way of evening the odds.
Even Hacksaw getting a rally every 55 seconds. Like, I mean,
I think Hacksaw is the best Brigitter in the world. I think I'm willing to stand by that. I think he's... if you watch him, if you have the All Access Pass, you're able to watch individual POVs. Just watch how Hacksaw is able to squeeze every last drop of value out of that hero. It is astonishing.
And so the Gladiators go with the same composition they used at Horizon Lunar Colony, with Hydration on the Orisa, Roar on the Winston, and then they're going to play Bastion Sombra. This is where we saw the Titans. They played like, quad DPS with 2 supports. We'll see what they decide to do when they see this comp in action.
Hydration making a change for the Equine. And he's revealed the little strat there, the Gladiators. I think the Titans know exactly what they're walking into now. Slime is able just to clear the way. Switches for the Vancouver Titans. Nothing really crazy about the comp, except Solminsu is playing D.Va here. It's going to give them more ability to access the high ground and try and knock things like Bastion off. Also, the couple seconds of protection afforded by that defense matrix is going to
bring it all out. Bumper going back to the spawn. He's going to switch maybe the... I was going to say maybe we see...
Here we go!
The famous, the Bumzo, the Bumper Hanzo, but we'll see.
Did you just say Bumzo?
Yeah, that's what they call it, the Bumzo. It's the Bumper Hanzo.
Well, I guess that's canon now, isn't it? What do you call this then?
I don't know. We don't have a name for it yet. We haven't.
Do you want to take a stab at coming up with one?
We haven't seen enough of the Bumper Junkrat.
All right.
To immortalize with a nickname.
Gotcha. No nickname yet. Roger that. Raw's able to get away, but that body grenade is going to lay him low. Surefour trying to pressure Bumper down. A long-range remote mine thrown, and Bumper realizes that everyone is paying attention to him. He is the belle of the ball right now.
There's marching the payload in.
Hydration forced to drop down. Solminsu going to be turned on here. He's doing damage, but that Fortify is going to make it hard for him to cut through. Surefour finds Hacksaw before Solminsu can silence him. So the Titans are forced to go back to the drawing board here.
You will have an EMP for the Titans. EMP plus like Valkyrie, and then you could even nano Hacksaw on the Pharah. I know nanoing the Pharah has been a pretty popular play. As we see more Ana played with the Pharah, as Sominsu dies at the hands of Roar.
Immortality Field making his life very difficult there. The Gladiators have built up to an EMP, as have the Titans. Both have nano boost, even footing. Tank configuration for Decay will add a bit of extra firepower here. There will be a lot of explosive projectiles launched in this next fight. That's my prediction.
They have an idea that Stitch is trying to come through this doorway on the high ground.
Roar's down. That's the EMP connection. Decay is hit by that one. Solminsu is heading upstairs, and he's here to do work. Hydration is down. 3 missing for the Gladiators here, and Decay's going to have to go for something big, but he doesn't have a chance to get the tank mode out. The mortars have been sent back to the factory, and the Gladiators have been sent back home. The Vancouver Titans will secure themselves their 20th series win here in Season 2 of the Overwatch League. They will secure themselves the title, of course, in the Pacific Division, and will get themselves into the Stage 3 playoffs. Quite a lot, don't you think, Matt?
Yeah, a lot of good looks today for the Titans as well. A lot of people wondering, maybe this is a really good matchup for the Gladiators coming on in. A lot of flexibility for the Gladiators, really strong players, and a lot of the prominent heroes in the meta right now. For the Titans, they throw Stitch into the lineup. Sominsu comes in for Janu. They put together something that looks pretty similar to what a lot of teams are playing here in Stage 3, and it looks good.
Who would have thought the Titans could play the same thing as everyone else, just a little bit better. Nice mix-up, Stitch looking good. Let's go now down to the floor and hear from that man with Danny.
Thanks, guys. I got Stitch from Vancouver Titans here next to me. Seems very happy. Are you happy? 행복하시나요?
기분 좋습니다.
Alrighty, and welcome back to the starting lineup. I think this is your first time playing the whole match throughout first to the from the beginning to the end. I knew that this day was going to come, but how did you prep yourself in order to get back into the lineup?
쉽게 말씀드리자면은 일단 승리 너무나 축하드리고요. 또 스티 선수가 오늘 좀 경기 초반부터 끝까지 다 끝나게 된 게 처음인 것 같은데 좀 준비 과정 어떻게 좀 하셨나요?
원래 기본 3-3일 때는 제가 자리를 잘 못해가지고 있다가 요즘은 약간 뭔가 손브라 쪽이 더 활용할 수 있는 게 많더라고요. 그래서 제가 연습해가지고 그렇게 된 것 같습니다.
So before this meta, it was usually just 3-3 or GOATS comp. So I wasn't really great on Zarya, so I was being benched. But now that the meta has shifted and a lot of people are using a lot of Sombra GOATS, and Sombra is really heavily utilized in a lot of compositions. So I practiced a lot on Sombra, and that's why I'm back in the lineup. Well, congratulations. And also I have to talk about this one. We saw Vancouver Titans using 4 DPS compositions twice today. I just want to hear, I feel like it could have been a very risky composition, but you guys pulled it off. What was your reasoning behind it? 아무래도 오늘 두 맵이죠. 두 맵에서 좀 4딜 조합을 쓰신 거를 좀 봤는데 밴쿠버 팀이 좀 그거에 대한 좀 이유, 좀 어떻게 보면 좀 위험할 수도 있었던 조합이라고 생각을 해요. 저는 그거를 대신에 그래도 계속해서 쭉 쓴 이유가 뭘까요?
일단 저희 코치진들이 약간 이렇게 해보라 해가지고 해봤는데 잘 되더라고요. 그래서 계속 그냥 믿고 한 것 같아요.
So it was actually up to the coaching staff. The coaching staff just told us to, just believe in yourself and try this composition. You guys can make it work. So we did it and we made it work. Well, congratulations, Stitch and Vancouver Titans. Thank you guys so much. Mitch and Matt, back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Danny. The time is right for DPS players now to start to make their foray back into these rosters. Stitch absolutely deserving of an opportunity to prove himself, and he definitely did.
Yeah, he looked really good on the Sombra. I liked a lot of the quad DPS stuff they did with the Reaper. It's like one of the first successful days of Reapers, Overwatch.
Looking at you, Hangzhou Spark.
Yeah, so they make the Reaper work, and they looked very much more like the Titans today than they have all stage long.
But with a different style. Still that same pursuit of excellence, though. Here are your stage 3 standings now. Now, we will not know until the very end of our homestand next week, whether it'll be NYXL or the Titans that stand at the top. And obviously the seeding makes a big difference because the NYXL still have another game to play.
2 games left.
Yeah, that's right, 2 games to play, and their last game will be against the Toronto Defiant in Atlanta at our homestand. So that's something to keep in mind. We won't have that sorted until the very end of the stage. But our player of the match, presented to you by Omen by HP, selected by all of us, is Twilight. Another fantastic performance. He was involved in 25% of all of these big kills, the body grenades with Nutty.
Yeah, his Ana today was on point. I mean, just on Ilios, you remember a few consecutive pushes, he gets the sleeps on a decay. The biotic grenades, consistent all game long, four-player one right there. Is I know we saw them play against the Valiant the other day. Kareev really played great on the Ana. He comes in today, has a standout performance on the hero.
Yeah, just to preempt our very passionate fans of Stitch, not an easy decision, but Twilight really shone across the whole series here, and you can see on that his stats.
40
looking
biotic
sharp.
grenade kills. I mean, you know, really doing a lot on Ana. As Ana is a support hero who's kind of come back into the meta with Sombra, and that as of late, Ana's very, very strong individually, a lot like Sombra.
Do we start looking now at Vancouver, or do we still believe that they are favorites heading into our Stage 3 playoffs?
I don't think so. I don't think the Titans are their favorite. I think they looked very good here today. I don't think you can say, though, you know, you look at the whole body of work through Stage 3, I don't think you can say they are the favorites right now. But they do have some time going in to these Stage 3 playoffs. They have about like a week to kind of game plan. For me, I think NYXL, even though they had a close game against the Dallas Fuel the other day, I think what they've shown is really good understanding of the Sombra meta. I think Sabielbe's really been playing well, and I think he adds another dimension to that team in terms of leadership and experience for them in the future.
Well, coming up next, we've got another potential favorite for stage playoff contention. The San Francisco Shock are looking to lock it up against the London Spitfire, who are different on every single day, so you never know what you'll get. That's the exciting part about it, so stick around. We'll see that on the other side of these messages.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.